My Hero Academia, Horikoshi, man, like, stop flexing, bro. You're gonna fucking pop a blood vessel. Like, what the fuck is happening? Like, by the way, did you see there was some comments in the comment section there. There was a heated, not even debate, because they were all agreeing. There was just a heated just thrashing on Oda, basically just talking about how much better this arc is than Wano.
Oh, I saw that.
I was like, man, I'm sad. Like, listen, you gotta understand, there's a difference in how they structure arcs. Oda's a lot more about the setup. There's a really slow, big setup, and then Oda just, brings you to a, orgasmic conclusion. Whereas, Horikoshi, his arcs are a little bit less uniform. Anyway, go ahead.
I don't know, man. My Hero Academia being better than Wano? Ooh, that's a bold claim. That's a bold claim. Oh, That's a whole that's levels of saying let's see, that's both levels of saying what's the equivalent of that, saying Attack on Titan is better than JoJo.
Ah, no. You actually are on the camp of Wano being better than My Villain Academia?
Oh no, not at all. I'm saying because Attack on Titan, I hear, has been extremely quality level in writing, and JoJo's also good, but it's just it's just like a newcomer.
That's a shitty comparison. What I'm saying is, it's a bad comparison because this shit's been fire, but you got to understand how Oda structures his arcs. Here's the thing: if Wano ends and it's boring as fuck, nothing of substance happens, sure. But I know what Oda's gonna do, and Wano's gonna have some nuts shit at the end. But anyway,
yeah,
we'll get off of the off topic, I guess. But basically, this arc's been phenomenal, and we kind of see the finale here of the flashback. Now, what do you want to start with on this? Because oh boy, lots to unpack.
So, one of the things I want to talk about is wow.
Can we start with terrifying child Shigaraki that shit?
He literally admits that if someone would have helped him that day, he probably would have been evil. That's fucking insane. That's fucking insane.
Shit.
Imagine too, bro. This is a fucking child by himself. You tell, wow, My Academia people are assholes.
No. You're missing the point. This is something that he's talked about before. He hates the hero system. One of the reasons he hates the hero system is because it kind of absolves all of the normal citizens from any sort of responsibility. So you see everyone's just like, oh, a hero will get to it. Of course a hero will get to it, right? That happened over and over again. Remember, we saw a long time ago, I'm pretty sure, where it was oh, no heroes got to you, or no hero, basically just, the way I look at this is, one of the reasons he hates the hero system is because it made everyday people basically be I don't need to be good. I don't need to worry about doing good deeds because we literally have a society of heroes, right? So it makes people think less of themselves so they don't have to fucking be the hero. Because in our world, it's you're a hero if you pick up litter. You're a hero if you help an old lady cross the street. In their world, it's don't even fucking bother because All Might will be over soon to fucking help that old lady cross the street. You know what I mean? you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's funny.
So basically that's how I look at this, right? Where Shigaraki, most people are just ignoring it because because think about it, in their world there's a hero every 2 blocks, bro. There's probably a hero across the street, right? But it just so happened that either all of them ignored him because of how freaky he is, or they just happened to miss him. But the vibe I get is that most of these citizens were just a hero will get to him, and then any citizen that actually thought to talk to him, like that old lady, was immediately put off from it because of how goddamn terrifying he is. Because Jesus, can we just talk about that face when the old lady talks to him? Literally, we're still on that horror manga shit right now, some Junji Ito level shit. It's freaking me out. I actually keep jumping at these.
You can tell that the old lady never had ground children at all, because what old lady would be scared of a child like that? Bruh. I'm gonna be honest. I think you need to look at that.
I think you need to look at that page again, bro. I think you need to look at that page again, bro. Page 3.
Look at him. He looks adorable.
Are you kidding me?
Creepy smile with the blood and everything like that.
No, it has nothing to do with the blood. It's all about the eyes. It's all about the eyes.
Eyes. Fucking adorable. He's cute.
You're fucking with
cute Shimura. You think I'm playing? I'm serious. I would help him out.
No. I'm sorry.
I so would.
Listen, here's what I'd do. I would take the middle ground, and here's what the middle ground is. I would be terrified of him, walk away, and then call the cops and be like, hey, there's a creepy child in the street.
Beat him with a garden tool.
No, only if he's trying to disintegrate me. Then it is acceptable to beat him with a garden tool.
If that doesn't work, kill him.
Bro, look at his face! You can't even... Bro, I am taking a hard stance on this motherfucker is terrifying.
Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, red True Colors comes out.
What are you talking about? That's so bullshit. The world is different, bro. People have the superpowers. That changes things. It's like Shigaraki said back in the mall. It's like motherfuckers are walking around with rocket launchers. But it's like he's walking around with a nuke. Like, listen, man, in times of war, doesn't matter. Like if a child is holding a weapon of mass destruction, you pop that child. Like, no, I'm not saying that needs to happen because we're not in a fucking serious situation right now. I'm just saying... I don't blame this like this grandma, man. Like, she's terrified. Now, what she should have done for sure is call the cops. Someone should have been like, hey, like, because they kept saying, oh, the cops will get to him. No, just call the cops. There's a fucking lost child. He looks like he's been through shit. Maybe fucking murdered someone. I don't know. Someone fucking check this out, right? But the problem is they kept obfuscating their responsibility. They kept thinking, oh, someone will get to it, right? And that is kind of the lesson here, where he just kept saying, if any of them helped me, right? And I think that, because I understand, like, they shouldn't have, but I get why a lot of people were, like, put off by this, right? Because think about our society, too, right? You see a random little child. Thurman, like, you know how our society works. If you see a random little child, you're not going to fucking stop and help that because someone's going to be like, pedophile! You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, almost choked. Oh, my God. Oh.
You feel me, right? So, like, you can't even, like, this is more of a comment on our society as a whole than just the assholishness of these specific people, because to me, our society it builds itself on like a principle of like, oh, that isn't your problem, don't bother with it, right? We have officials for that. And we dehumanize each other. We kind of allow ourselves to just, like, people get used to it. Like, there are places where, like, crimes are just normal, you know, like, oh, shootings happen. People literally will hear gunshots from right outside their fucking apartment window and just close the window, like, oh, whatever. You know what I mean? No one calls the cops, no one does anything. Why? Because they always assume someone else will do it. There are studies where motherfuckers got, like, killed in the street and they didn't find their bodies for days, and then when they asked those surrounding neighbors, everyone was like, oh, I assumed someone else called the cops. And then no one did.
Mm-hmm.
That happens.
There was a story like that too, to where a man raped a woman right in the middle of the street, outside the street, and
no one called the cops because everyone assumed that everyone else did, right?
Yeah, that's a famous one too.
Always call the cops. Always. Yeah. So literally basically, outside. Yeah. I mean, because I'll be honest, I don't think it'd be smart for a random person to just, because like, what would a random person do in this scenario? Like, oh, hey, do you need help? What do you do, right? But what they should have done for sure is brought a police officer to this boy, 100%. And then, like he said, he probably would have been chill, and he probably would have been saved. So, 100%, these people are fucked up for not calling the police officer, but I understand that that's just kind of the human condition. It's human psychology. We do it in real life, too. So, it's very powerful to me that he basically admits that, yeah, if one person helped me back then, I probably would have reformed.
So, continue on here.
You can watch it on the video.
You are God tier. Like you, everything that was said in this chapter, you caused 100%.
Thank you.
It's literally. I wouldn't be surprised. Are you riding my back? Are you secretly Horikoshi?
Bruh. How much more would you want to fuck me if I was Horikoshi?
I mean,
say it, bitch. I can't want to fuck you more than I do now. Yeah, I know.
Let's just say I'd be on the first plane to Michigan tomorrow. Sorry, I have more pressing arrangements.
Whoa, name dropping. Are you sure? Do I gotta edit this?
Sure, go ahead, edit that.
Are you sure? Because I might not. The power's in my hand now. You've already said it.
I mean, I didn't say it in a negative way, so.
Do you actually want to? I'll bleep it or something.
Yeah, bleep it. Go ahead. Bleep it.
That's Thurman's whammon friend that he has a crush on.
Used to have a crush on. Or maybe. I don't know.
I've told stories about my whammon friend that I have a crush on.
Emotions are weird.
Yeah, love is... Anyway, shut up. Demon child. What were we talking about again?
So you are God tier.
What did I predict? Remind me, because I'm dumb.
Bro, so you called the hands part. You called that All For One was saying about how the hands literally...
Oh, the emotions and how it'll remind him of... Yeah.
Yeah, the fucking... you also call the extra hands. You called this shit, bro. You called this shit.
Thanks, man. Like, I'm really happy that I did. Yeah, no, I was pretty happy to see the emotional thing and what the hands meant to his emotional state. Made me happy because that was exactly what I thought. I also kind of like what I touched on a lot in the last chapter review was how he kind of, at first I would say devolved emotionally, but I guess it's more of though he never evolved. Like he kind of stayed at a childlike state, and they say something along the lines of like, I'm trying to find it here, where like. Because he's basically, the way I look at this chapter is he's trying to dehumanize him and make him more animalistic. Because he's basically like, one of my favorite talks he gives him is like, listen, conscience, morals, ethics, these are all constructs that someone made up. Someone who wanted to run the world smoothly. Don't be bound by them. Don't fear them. Just do what you want to do, right? So that's fascinating because that's something that people forget, right? Laws, society, what's good and bad, that is all created by us. Think about that. What is truly good and bad, right? Like, we all agree murder's bad, obviously. But, let's be honest, like, people made that law. You know what I mean? Like, we all agree, okay, well, hey, don't steal. Well, why? Because people don't want to be stolen from. So I like how he said, and by the way, to clarify, of course, those laws are good. There are laws that are good and there are laws that are bad. Most of those are good, obviously.
Yeah, because to everyone is the hero in their own eyes.
Oh, yes. History is written by the victor. America, if you live in America, you're taught that America is the best country of all time. If you live in North Korea, you're taught that North Korea is the best country of all time. If you live in the UK, you get the point, right? So, like, we were fucking, like, brainwashed into thinking that America was like, yes, we're the freest country, and we're the best country, and we totally weren't founded on Native American genocide. Please don't think about that. That's just what people do, right? So I love that, like, he's reminding Shigaraki here, you're feeling bad right now, but you shouldn't, because... Why are you feeling bad? What, because someone raised you to think killing was bad? Who says? That because All For One's clearly a nihilist. He doesn't believe in any sort of higher power or higher, like, sense of good or evil. He's basically truly believes in the sense that, like, every law, every good or evil, morality, yada yada, that was all created by man. And what do they know more than what we know, right? So I love that his whole thing here is like, listen, the whole reason you're feeling bad right now is just because of what you've been taught. Ignore that and go by your base instincts. And like I said in the last chapter on how he's kind of like, he never evolved past childhood, All For One taught him and conditioned him to basically have just this drive, this animal-like drive of like instinctual-like drive to like just go purely based off of your emotions. If you have an impulse to kill that guy, fuck it, kill him. Why hold back, right? That is what he's molding him into, because he wants him to be a symbol of fear. He wants him to be like anti-society, anti-morality, anti-sanity. He just wants him to be a creature of like pure impulse and instinct. And that's fucking fascinating. The fact that the way he did that was by basically destroying the concept of society and morality in his mind, which I think is, wow, that's some deep shit. Like, you're getting into like the kind of shit I talk about with politics, where it's like, people will be like, oh man, well, why, like, oh, those rich people, they made that money fair and square. And I'm like, did they? By whose laws? Like, this is the kind of talks I have all the time. I love this shit. It's great. Anyway, thoughts? Boy, if you're gone right now, oh no. No.
Oh, sorry, I forgot I muted my thing.
Why the fuck? Bro, is your cousin being a little fuck right now?
No, I was clearing my throat, and I don't hear the comments say, oh, why is he clearing his throat? So I was clearing my throat.
Was there a comment?
I forgot to fucking clear that shit.
Are they calling you out on that shit finally?
Huh?
Are they calling you out in the comments for that?
Even if they did,
That's so funny.
give a fuck. No, but I'm saying I don't want to. You know, I was being polite. Anyway,
one dislike for every Thurman throat clear.
All for One gave him his last name. That's interesting.
Yo, yeah, that was a big reveal. So this whole time we've been saying Shigaraki. That's fucking All for One's last name.
So it's crazy because does All for One know that his grandmother is the one who was the hero who, you know, trained All Might, all that shit, right?
Yes, he does. Because when All Might fought him, that was like... In fact, I'm pretty sure All for One literally was like implied that was the reason he picked him. Because remember, All for One's whole thing when he was fighting All Might was like, haha, guess what, bitch? Took your fucking mentor's grandson, fucked him up. You know, like just, and I'm pretty sure he said, just because I can, just because I knew it would piss you off, right? So, like, I'm pretty sure, and which, by the way, that gives me the vibe that, like, there's even more to this than I don't think that all this shit just happened purely by chance. I think that somehow All for One set this in motion, because I think he probably had his eyes on this kid for a long time.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Because think about it. As soon as he
yeah, he was waiting, bro. He's outside, like, come on.
He's waiting. He's fucking waiting. He's literally up top of the roof with a fucking umbrella. He's like, oh, there's my little experiment.
And I love that too, because, by the way, the reveal that, like, some of the hands on him are, like, the first two dudes that he killed, by the way, besides his family. Because that was kind of like, remember that part in JoJo Part 5 where, like, I don't remember his name, but, like, was it Pesci? The dude with the fishing rod stand? Do you remember him?
Oh, yeah.
You remember when he was scared to kill people, and then he, like, stepped on the dude's neck, and he was like, oh, that was easier than I thought. I don't actually feel bad. You remember that?
Yeah.
Like, that's basically what the moment that Shigaraki had to have. He was still kind of apprehensive about murder, and then he was like, nah, dude, they fucked with you. Kill them. You want to kill them? Kill them. And then he did, and then these motherfuckers just casually, like, bring in, like, here's the hands. Congratulations. You killed. Never forget. It's just so weird and creepy. But, like, again, like, his whole thing was never forget these emotions. And to me, because here's the thing, right? What happens when you only... stick like you keep your mind on one thing always, right? You're always thinking back to the past. You are not going to progress as a person, right? So think about anyone who's, like, so terrified. You know, we know people, you know, I won't name names, but people in that group chat that are, like, terrified or extra stressed or yada yada yada. The people that are always coming back to the same worry or the same thought over and over and over again, what's the one thing you notice about them? They don't ever progress as people. They're stuck in the past because they're only thinking about one thing. So the way I see this is, he kept him stuck in this. He kept him in a way where he would never be able to progress past his hatred by having him keep these hands on him. And of course now that brings us to now at the end of this chapter, where he seems to be almost shedding the hands now. Like he's like, I don't need these anymore, right?
Yeah.
So what's your thoughts on that?
Interesting. That is, I was not expecting that at all. I'm like, wow. So it's crazy to me because Shigaraki, just like the rest of his crew, is like, he's breaking off his past self. Mm-hmm. It took longer than everyone else because, you know, plot. But
also, I mean, his past was a bit more complex, to be fair.
So it's just like, oh shit, now, so my question is this, right? Will he still basically follow All for One because of this?
Bro, he might not. This might be an independent time, but here's the thing, right? That's what All for One wanted. Don't forget, All for One, I'm pretty sure, wanted him to become an independent person anyway. I don't think he'd be disappointed. I think All for One just wanted to create a monster.
Yeah, and was it because it's like a humongous boost for him, and that's interesting. Wow, Shigaraki, man, fucking awesome character.
He's a phenomenal villain. Great. I thought he was a phenomenal villain all the way back at the mall scene. You know, like chapter 60 something. Now, oh my god, and like. I wanted to say something else too, like the hands breaking off. Like the hands, you can see them as a metaphor for like training wheels. You know what I'm saying? So like, You remember when you're learning to ride a bike? Like those were his training wheels, and they're off now. Because what those training wheels accomplished for him was, hey, you've repressed these memories, but these hands are going to remind you of your hatred and your just those feelings that you had back in the day. You may not fully remember why you're having these feelings, but these hands always being on you will remind you of those feelings, right? Now that he's remembered, like he's actually remembered now, it's like, I don't need these anymore. You know what I mean? And that's just so interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
it's so crazy. So it's like we called, bro. Going after his body.
Yes, and that was another thing you and I both called, where he literally is just like go, just jamming through the whole city, like going to Shigaraki. But here's the thing, right? We're not gonna get our Loki puny god moment because I'm pretty sure Shigaraki in his new badassery is just gonna be like dissolve. Bye. I feel like he's gonna dissolve like half of his body, and then he's gonna be like, okay, I accept you.
this nigga was like, fuck all you puny humans. I'm going after the boy. I'm going after
I love that they're like, dude, they're not fucking reducing his HP enough. He's like ants.
He's like, bring that ass here, boy. I'm not done with you yet. Oh my god, this nigga he's going through everyone just to go to Shigaraki. That shit's fucking hilarious, bro. That is funny.
No, that's the funny part though, right? Like, remember, what is this guy here to do if not to test to make sure he is what All For One wanted him to be? Guess what? Shigaraki is now what All For One wanted him to be, right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
So I guarantee you he's gonna get there, and Shigaraki's gonna do some crazy shit. And then, you know, the big boy over here is going to be like, okay, that is, you've done it. You know what I mean?
I don't think Shigaraki wants to kill him because the whole
he's useful.
point.
Yeah, no, I think he'll probably like fucking like with just immediately like with like almost like no effort whatsoever. I think he'll just like disintegrate like a fucking limb off, just like bing, and he'll be like, oh fuck, you know what I mean?
I want to see something like Radesso's just like, you fucking monster, don't interrupt our fight. He's just like, get the fuck out of my way.
Well, here's the thing now. Now I'm worried. I'm getting the vibe, right? And I'm curious on your thoughts on this. I feel like now that he's had this huge awakening, Redestro is going to get foddered. And I'm nervous about that.
Oh, but what about your whole thing about like how he's like, oh, he's human. He's supposed to...
Did I say it about him? No. I said it about his secretary.
Oh, yeah.
Go back to the video, bitch. I literally said if he got foddered, I'd be mad. But he specifically was branded like he's a fighter, right? He's gonna be a fighter. This other bitch was not. She was like the journalist, okay? So like I don't want to go into that again, but my point is, yes, if he got foddered now, that'd be bullshit. Although maybe it wouldn't. That's tough to say because unless I don't know, it depends on how impactful he wants it to be. Because I do feel like he's just gonna turn around and be like, I wish you'd seen Bleach. I have such a good Bleach reference, man. Like, there's a moment where like Ichigo's getting fucking decimated by Grimmjow in his third fight in Hueco Mundo, and and like you know basically like Orihime is kind of like stressed out because Ichigo's using a new power that involves him holofying. And Orihime has, like, this PTSD level fear of hollows because, like, hollows have, like, fucked her up a lot in the past, and her brother was like, turned into a hollow. So, yeah, basically she's seeing this hollow mask on Ichigo, and she's freaking out, like, worrying he's going to lose control and shit. And Ichigo can tell that she doesn't have faith in him, so he's, like, kind of, like, distracted by that, and, like, oh, man, like, I'm scaring the person I'm trying to be saving. But then when finally Orihime realizes, no, that is Ichigo, and I need to be supportive of him because he's fighting out there for his life, she basically cheers on, like, you know, you can do it, Ichigo, I'm here for you. And then once that happens, like, he goes from getting his ass kicked to, like, turning around and just like, sorry, Grimmjow, I guess I gotta do good now. Well, bam! You know, and he just whips his ass. So basically, like, the way I look at it, and yes, of course, that is 100% the power of boners and anime waifus, obviously. Like that's what that was. It was like, oh, my waifu's on my side now? You got it. Clap in their cheek.
Dude, I think I've heard of that fight. People are really pissed about how Ichigo versus Grimmjow was just like a whole like, the whole like. No,
it's a good fight. It's just, but it certainly had like a power of boners moment.
Ichigo gets beaten. Ichigo's like, I'm not done yet. Grimmjow gets beaten. Grimmjow powers up. Grimmjow beats him.
If you're talking, the main complaint with that fight is if you look at the damage they both took, I think it was Ichigo took like so many more. Like Ichigo got like if you literally stack up the injuries, like Ichigo's injuries, Grimmjow's injuries, Ichigo like got like stabbed 15 times, sliced 30 times. You know what I mean? And then you go to Grimmjow's injuries, and it's like I got sliced once and stabbed once, and then he fell out. Yeah, because it was literally like just the whole fight was Ichigo just getting like and then fucking all of a sudden like Ichigo's like I'm back. 1-2 hits, you're down.
The power of a boner.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, think about it, bro. Like, your waifu all of a sudden is like, yo, I'll fuck you tonight if you win. Like, oh, hell yeah. That's how you do it.
You don't need to use your Bankai. Your sword in your pants will just solo for you.
Shing! Well, anyway, that quick Bleach aside, more thoughts on this chapter, sir?
Honestly, let me see. Backstory. I want to kill my dad. Yada yada yada.
I want to kill my dad.
Hold on, just looking through here, see anything to talk about.
Okay, when he walks out though, when he walks out as a kid for the first time with the hands on him, that shit was also really eerie. Like, so much freaky art in this chapter. It's just Horikoshi's done such a good job at making me terrified. Like, this is one of those villains where I'm terrified of him now. You know what I mean? Like, he is creepy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
because
for sure.
He's unstable as fuck. Like, I'm trying to think of the last time I was this scared of a villain. Because it's not just power that makes you scared. It's unpredictability. It's instability. It's when someone's just, like, truly insane. I'm not talking, like, Joker insane. Because he kind of takes it to a cringy level, I think. I'm talking, like just so insane that, like, you just do not know what he's going to do. He could harm himself. He could harm others. He, I know that Sasuke gets a bad rap, but you know that part where Sasuke went so insane that he was, like, hurting his own fucking members, like his own crew?
Yeah.
Like he literally grabbed fucking Karin and was like, lol, like, you're gonna be my human shield now, bitch. Like for no reason. Like, that was Sasuke at his scariest, because he was just nuts. And I love psychopath characters, man. What's up?
He was like, I love Sasuke.
I have a guilty pleasure for Sasuke. I could do a whole video on my guilty pleasure for Sasuke. Like, he's objectively a shitty character, but he's fun to watch.
We need a very edited, great video, Hisoka level, of why
Sasuke is shit but enjoyable.
Enjoyable to laugh at.
Now, what did you make of the line, "I feel like no matter what I do, I'll be forgiven"? That's interesting.
It seems to me like
he's literally like he's absolved all. Like, he's basically like saying, I don't feel any guilt about anything I'm doing, and I guess that probably ties into All For One, like, making him not care about societal norms and expectations and morality. It's very interesting.
It's similar to how you would tell, like, how a spoiled child would kind of get in trouble at school or get in trouble at Boys and Girls Club, yada yada, and the parent will never blame them. The parent will always blame something else for the child's being.
That's a good point, because now that he's killed his family, he talks about how when he killed his family, he felt nothing but, like, ease and happiness, right? And he probably feels like free as fuck right now.
Yeah, because think about it, right? Every time he kills, he doesn't have any remorse. It's always good job. Right.
Yeah, so and it's almost. I mean, think about it. It's like a childlike dream. Like, I'm sure there. When you're a dumb little kid, it's like, fuck grown-ups, man. If you were just gone, life would be so. You know what I mean? Like, you remember that Jimmy Neutron movie where all the grown-ups get kidnapped by aliens?
Oh yeah, I remember that shit.
It's like that. Like he's like, yeah, fuck my parent, because to him, his parents. I mean, obviously, his mom was a bit better, but, like, still, like, to him, like, the family was, like, holding him back. I feel like he's just, like, especially the dad. So yeah, I like that. Anyway, what were you saying?
Yeah, so basically what you just said, so it's, if you've never been told, well, now, like, you kill, every time you kill, you've been told, good job, you become a step closer, you're going to be like, shit, well, apparently what I'm doing is good, and it makes me feel good to do this, so I think, after having my life be shit for so long, it feels like, no matter what I do now, I'll be forgiven because of my shitty life.
Man.
So, it's just like, he's feeling enlightenment right now, basically. Look at page 12. He feels bliss. It almost feels like sort of like how how you feel when you go home from work, you take a shower, the water hits and you're like, oh
yeah.
That's what he feels like. He's just like, it feels so much better, like that.
And he talks about how he gets that itch whenever he's like wants to have a violent outburst. And his whole life he's been trying to hold that back or, like, maintain it or cure the itch. Whereas, if we're speaking purely metaphorically, right, everyone else is, you know what? Yeah, think about this metaphorically, right? The first thing we saw in this flashback was his mom being like, don't scratch it, right? Because I'm sure you've heard this metaphor before, like, an urge or an impulse can be described as scratching that itch. I'm sure you've heard that, right?
Yep.
So think about it. I think that's actually a big metaphor. I just thought of this now. I think that's actually a metaphor Horikoshi's going with, because his parents would always tell him, don't scratch the itch, don't scratch the itch. All of a sudden, think about it, you're a child, all you want to do is scratch that itch. And I'm not just talking literally here, I'm talking scratch the itch of all of your impulses. Scratch the itch of, hey, I want to eat dessert for breakfast. I want to, punch that kid in the face that pissed me off. Scratch that impulse itch, right? So his whole life he's been told, no, don't scratch that itch, don't scratch that itch. All of a sudden, this guy shows up and he's telling him, no, scratch that itch. Scratch the fuck out of that itch. And it feels good when you scratch it, doesn't it? And you get to him on as he's like a 5-year-old, that's going to sink in, he's not being told, no, don't scratch that itch because later it'll hurt you. He's being told, yeah, it feels good, so of course do it. I love it. It's very interesting. So yeah.
Especially because it reminds me of your favorite JoJo villain.
My boy?
Yeah. So Kira over here, she's like, every time he doesn't chill, his nails grow long.
Yeah.
Right?
He's like,
so he has to bite his nails or do something to get rid of his impulse.
Yep.
So something.
Well, and you know what? And the thing about Kira was that he had an OCD compulsion. So whenever his nails were long, he felt like he had to kill someone. So he was like, oh, you know what I mean? And yeah, I love that. So I get the vibe that his itching is kind of like that. Yeah, it's a good point you made. So yeah.
Oh yes.
This was a great chapter. I've loved this entire situation that he's been doing with his flashback here. I'm curious where we're going to go from here.
5 out of 10.
You see 9.5?
Yes.
Wait, hold on just a second. Are you ranking One Piece this week higher than My Hero? Because he said 10 out of 10, and we just filmed One Piece right before this. Do we need to... you're going to get lynched by the comments, bro. Really?
I don't give a fuck.
Well, then I'll lynch you instead. Really?
Oh,
you think One Piece is better than this?
No, I was playing 10 out of 10. Yeah.
See, this is you weren't just playing. That is what we call a fucking backpedal.
I wasn't backpedaling.
I didn't say shit. If I didn't say shit, you wouldn't have said anything. What you've shown is that number rankings are dumb as fuck and they make no goddamn sense.
There's no proof that I would have.
The proof is that everyone can tell.
I didn't say anything because I was waiting for your reaction. The reaction is what I wanted.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I mean, thank you for proving my point, though.
Boy who cried wolf up in this bitch.
It's not wrong analogy, but okay.
No, it's not. It's the right analogy because you bullshit so much. How am I to know when you're bullshitting for real and bullshitting for fake?
I mean, that's your issue, not mine.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting tired, and I'm sure this video is delirious and loopy. So this chapter was great. I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm very curious to see where he goes from here because this arc's just been fascinating, and I'm curious to see how it'll wrap up and where we go from here. I guess Shigaraki is going to be accepted, and he'll get access to the entire Nomu army, right? That's what it was? You get a bunch of Nomus and all of his science shit, right? Hello?
Yeah. Hello.
I didn't hear you. Anyway, yeah, so... that'll be interesting. And what do you think Shigaraki does with all that shit at that point? Is he just going to commence the let's just go on a murder spree to satisfy this itch? Or I know specifically he wants to kill things that bother him, I know, but how does he, what's his next stage of his plan once he gets what he wants, I guess?
I think he's just going to lay low for a while, honestly.
Lay low for a while until the next itch happens?
Because, the Liberation Army is just going to be on his ass.
Well, so you know what I just thought of? We know... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
They took a hit from this, but, at the same time, they're still a big organization, so it's not like they can't recover from this.
Yeah, and they have, satellites and shit. Never forget, they got, satellite tracking and shit.
And keep in mind that there are some heroes that are actually part of the Liberation Army, so they're not at the woodwork yet.
You're right. They should be, a constant, looming threat, for sure. They're not going to be gone after this arc. I agree with you, for sure. Now, keep in mind, one last thing as well, is that we know that All Might is going to die. This has been confirmed by Night Eye, what's his name?
Yep.
Yeah, the Future Boy, right? So, we know All Might's gonna die, right? More and more as I see Shigaraki, evolving, because one of the things he hates is All Might, right? Obviously, he looks at that as, oh, that's Hero Society, my grandma probably, left. My dad hated me because my grandma and my grandma's training him. There's a lot of reasons he could want to kill All Might. Obviously, we could also go back to the mall scene where he specifically talked to Deku and he was like, yep, all my problems are because of All Might, So I feel like this extra new badass Shigaraki is now going to want to kill All Might. Now, I don't know when that's going to take place, but we all know All Might's going to fucking die a tragic-ass death in this series, and it's going to be fucked up. And I cannot... As I see Shigaraki, like, evolving like this, God, it's going to be gruesome, and it's going to be holy shit. And I just see it inching ever closer.
Yep, and with that...
Oh, someone wants to end the video, don't they?
But what?
You don't want to talk about the fucking potential All Might death? You don't want to end the video like that, huh?
Well, the way you were putting it made it sound like we were close to ending the video. Because I mean, I can't really talk about all my stuff right now because I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting. I'm a good boy.
No, is that going to be like a law where you're triggered about it, or are you super ready?
No. I'm gonna be honest. I like All Might, but he's not really my favorite character. I don't know. All Might's kind of like a Shanks to me. Cool character.
Is Law your favorite character in One Piece, like ever?
He's one of them. I would say like top 3.
What is your top 3?
That's tricky because because it would be basic bitch for me to say Luffy, Zoro, Law,
bruh.
But I'd have to think about every character so far.
That's fair.
And then just put them
All
like
right,
in a.
We'll do that later. But to bring it back to topic, right before this will be the final thing before we end this video. What are your top 3 favorite My Hero characters?
Let's see. Top 3 would be Red Riot.
What?
Tokoyami. And then
Oh, Red Riot. I'm sorry. I thought Red Riot because I thought you were talking about the one that like inspired the Rock guy. But no, that's what he calls himself, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, because what was the guy that inspired him? Like Red something else? What was it?
It was Riot, but it was something else.
For a second, I was like, you mean the guy that showed up in like a flashback once?
So
Rock Boy. What else was it?
Tokoyami.
Bird Boy. And what else?
And then the third one. Third one's kind of tricky. I want to say. Probably. What's his name?
Why does it sound like you're chewing on shit?
It's not. I'm not.
What's his name? Tell me. What is his name?
Copy boy.
Oh, Monoma, best boy, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
I thought about it. I had to think about something, but off the top of my head,
I'll tell you right now, my favorite character in the series is Gentle Criminal. People think I'm a mad lad for that, but he fucking is. Shigaraki is probably number 2. And see, now for a while, Deku was up there in top 3. He's just really, to me, one of the things that made him so fun was his like nerdiness, his shy and awkwardness, and I understand that there's an inevitable need to. What? What, bitch?
I guarantee you there's quality job, but he has 6 quirks.
I mean, yeah.
I guarantee you. Don't even deny your whole liking of him.
Not my whole. That's one part of it. Because one part is the fact that he has 6 goddamn quirks now. The other part is that he's like way too confident. And I get it. He has to evolve and change as a character. Totally get it. So that's inevitable, right? But a lot of his charm is gone now. Last charming thing he did to me was when he was like talking to All Might, and All Might was like, yeah, I use support gear. And he was like, holy fuck, All Might used gear? I gotta Google this. That's the shit I miss from Deku, right? But so, I don't know. I'll say for now, it's Shigaraki and Gentle Criminal as 1 and 2. But Gentle Criminal's 1 and Shigaraki's 2. I don't know from there, actually. I'd have to think about it.
I don't like it, to be honest. Oh, I have to go back. I'll go back and watch the video where my theory was right. Ben 10 level shit.
Yeah, that was the funniest shit ever where you high-key called that. Like, he's got multiple quirks. And I was like, no. Disgusting. He'd be such a shit. And I was like, I'm so glad you're not the writer of this manga. Because the writer wouldn't do something so shitty.
You were proven wrong. That's a whole eye in your face.
But high key, though, you just told me this video is like I was writing it.
Yeah, but that's funny.
Here's why you know I'm not writing it, because I wouldn't do that.
Oh my god, that shit is fucking funny.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this week of extra special, definitely way more off topic than usual reviews. Blame the fact that I'm filming this on 5 hours of sleep and a full workday. But hey, I thought it was entertaining, and I hope you did too. there's always that like double tap to skip 10 seconds feature. You can always do that if we're talking too much bullshit. So that's always there. But hey, you shouldn't do it because it's funny. I like it.
Peace.
Peace. I'm still talking. Peace.